Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo, ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no flight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time, win time. We gon' bring it home time. No regrets now. Let it all go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's work.
Well, good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears on the PCSP network. Hello, Shannon. Of course, I'm Aeson Knight, and with me tonight is the Techy Cub with the most, Techy Joe. How are you, darlings?
I'm doing well, and hello, Shannon. Doing well. How about you?
Oh, evil, pissed off, and grumpy.
Well, yeah, basically.
You know, a normal Friday.
Basically.
So what should we want to take on first? How the school board lies to its neighbors.
Oh, let's take that. I don't think we're going to get past anything till we go there. Well, and now arguably, and minorly arguably, there has been issues with our local bridge. That makes up the current primary route to that school. But at the same time, it's a heck of a thing to see the plans drawn out for it to be a primary route. Everything basically designed for it to be a primary access to the school, and be told, no, it'll never be that. And then have it turn around and it's totally going to be that this oncoming school year.
Yeah.
So yeah, for those of you who aren't aware, we live on a road that is, and in a neighborhood that is adjacent to a local school compound. It's not just one school. It's not like it's a high school or an elementary school or a middle school. It's not any one. It's multiple schools in one giant complex. So it's an entire K-12 education system.
It covers multiple counties.
Well, multiple cities, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of a mess. And we live on the bus route, which we were informed of a couple of years ago would be happening. We weren't really happy with it then.
We're not happy with it now.
Well, it was a poor placed road by design. Then what they were actually designing wasn't even adequate. Like, if you're going to do this, please do it properly. Like, you know, we don't want it, but if you're going to do it, at least do it properly. And they didn't do that. Then we've gone through all the problems of having that road construction occur and be done poorly. And then we've had the lovely joys of its, you know, usage, which has involved speeding and being used as a primary route for staff and faculty. Yeah, it's just been one thing after another with that.
Yes, and
now we're adding
routing traffic through. Instead of going, you cannot drive to school. All children must be ridden on a bus until the traffic is released. Not hard to do.
Well, or at least create an alternative pickup area. Like, we have multiple businesses in this area that have either failed or that are borderline on failure.
Right.
Creating an alternative transfer point.
Right.
And busing those students in, you know, drop off here, pick up here, would make a lot more sense. But of course, that's not what they did.
No.
They're, you know, because Like, we still have the previous schools that this complex replaced.
Mm-hmm.
While those are obviously not good educational facilities because our county horribly mismanaged them and let them go into complete structural disrepair, I would hope the parking lot would be good enough to, park a bus and a few parents on.
Right.
And
Not
create
running
an
through my
alternative.
neighborhood.
Right. Instead of running those parents through our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to literally everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's ridiculous.
It's totally ridiculous. It's improper. They lied to the public. They have lied on their DOT permits. They are lying still.
Mm-hmm. So that's what's happening in our neck of the woods.
Yeah. So we may have a delay on Tuesday show, Wednesday shows, whatever the meetings are. Just understand we're at the meetings. We'll be here as soon as we can be because, this ain't working. Like, my comment today was call me a realtor.
Yeah.
I own my house free and kill, so it's pure profit.
True. But yeah, so it's really annoying when local government is one, especially disconnected from its community. Two, and school boards especially, are that disconnected from their communities, and more so when, as a neighbor to something of the magnitude of an entire school complex. Again, this isn't just a little, K3 or, a K5 or, a middle school or a high school. This is an entire school system plopped on one giant property. It looks like a penitentiary. Yeah. That's what we're dealing with. This whole school system looks like a penitentiary. I thought it was a penitentiary. I thought we had a prison when I first drove up here. Because it looks like a prison.
Well, it would be a lot safer if it was a prison.
Yeah. Well, But,
yeah.
It's aggravating. It's really flippin' aggravating.
Yeah. It's even more aggravating if they don't look for easier alternatives. Like, sorry, you cannot. All children must be picked up by the bus system. All children must be dropped off by the bus system.
Yeah.
You already have it in place.
We have to do this for this 2-month period. We'll create, and more importantly, create alternative pickup drop-off points.
Exactly.
And go, look, we don't have the ability right now for you to physically drive your kid to the front door of the building.
Right.
We're sorry. We're going to fix this, or this is being fixed. The issues related are being fixed. They're legitimately jumping to the solution that puts them one step closer to what they wanted all along.
Right.
Which is, we're going to make this the primary route to and from this school.
Yeah, because their whole reason for it is we don't want backup on 19. We don't want backup in our neighborhood.
Well, moreover, we don't want gridlock in our neighborhood. Because I'm sorry, that's potentially a lot of traffic. The buses are enough. Like, that's more than enough. It already makes our neighborhood difficult to navigate.
Right.
To then turn around and start doing one child at a time. Like, no, I'm sorry. Take your soccer mom fantasy and realize that right now this school is not accessible for one car, one child.
Right.
You can't do this.
No.
It's just not feasible. We're going to create an alternative pickup drop-off point. We are going to bus it. We are going to have, our normal lineup people working that, parking lot where we will do transfer. And it'll be okay. We can do this for a couple of months.
Right.
That would make far more sense, especially considering the number of education-owned properties that are now vacant, that have parking lots, Considering the number of businesses that we have in this area, in which they're not getting any traffic because most of those businesses don't open till 9. And even then, that like the couple in that parking lot that do open before 9 aren't getting that much traffic before 9.
Right.
Again, you're just doing this for a short period.
Bullshit.
Well, but again, if that's what you want,
it hasn't been for a short period. We have been guaranteed only drivers parking, only buses. We have had staff members. We have had delivery drivers. We had a freaking semi down our dead end street. They refused. We have caught multiple times them not locking the gate. Right. We have found them to continually disobey what they agreed to when they put this in. That they told the homeowners they would do, and they've yet to do it.
And moreover, we've had increased pedestrian traffic because there is now an easy connector from that area to other areas. Basically, we've become the connector because before this was a wooded lot.
Yeah.
There was a walking path. You didn't want to use it in the middle of the night. It was a nice day walking path if you wanted a little hike. But was not something that the average pedestrian was going to go taking off down.
Right.
Versus now, there is a nice paved road that it's a lovely, nice, gradual path all the way through our neighborhood, interconnecting the school lot to our neighborhood.
Yes.
So now we have increased pedestrian traffic at all hours. Not all of that pedestrian traffic is necessarily friendly, considering that, through our neighborhood, once you go past our neighborhood is the county day report center. And I'm not trying to necessarily, guilt by association, but that means a lot of people that have previously had criminal issues that might be in a situation, which we've seen many that do have to walk to and from the day report center, may be traversing our neighborhood. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary. I don't know. I'm really considering my United Nations view of the house.
Okay.
And figuring out how many flags we can get up there.
I just think that would be cool, period. But I don't even need to do this as like a threat. Although I'm half tempted to go, what are the exact legal ramifications of taking our front picture window and putting a television screen in it?
I don't believe there is any.
Well, I mean, depending upon content, I'm just a little concerned. But hi, Justin.
Hi, Justin. But anyhow, there's other things in the news than our neighborhood being poorly planned and, Aeson possibly selling the homestead just because he's fed up with poor neighbors. And I'm not talking income-based.
Well, But yeah, it's been interesting.
All right. So, as everyone kind of made notice and heard of, the eviction moratorium was dropped. Thank you, Republican Congress and Republican senators who can't do your damn jobs. This is kind of a heartbreaking story. Why don't you break it down?
All right, this one's a bit of a mess across the board. This is out of Alabama. Family told to leave rental home after mother dies of COVID. So this is a family in Mobile, Alabama. The kids lost their mother to COVID, and then weeks later were told to leave their rental home. So Dawn Bradley died on the 4th of July, leaving her teenage children as the only residents of their home. Now, granted, it looks like one of the oldest children is effectively like she's a teenager, but she's effectively an adult.
Yep, she's 18.
Yeah. So she could very much work, maintain, the expenses. Other family member have guaranteed that they will help them out and make sure that all their bills are paid. That's not enough for the to maintain the lease. So Dawn, who passed away, is the only person on that lease. And effectively, what this leasing company is doing is saying, we don't really care. The leaseholder's dead.
No.
Get out. Like, not willing to work with family at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing them out.
Yeah. This, unfortunately, has been visited by West Virginia before. Now, this case, I believe, is in Florida. This is old mind boss behavior. Lose your husband today, evict you tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Before the body gets settled into the ground.
Effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this has to definitely be hard for teenagers to process, as well as just the rush nature of being evicted in such a manner.
Yeah.
That, you just had to go through a horrific loss, and then before you can even catch your breath, you're being evicted.
Right.
And so instead of taking time to deal with that loss, and again, these are kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, she may be a teenage adult, but she's still a child.
Right.
That's very young. I don't know that most teenage adults, and granted, most adults are not prepared to lose a parent. It's a very hard thing to do so, and also have to deal with, okay, now you immediately have to pack your crap and move.
Right.
Get out. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot, especially when we had a moratorium. But they're even circular vetting it by not going through the eviction process because they don't have to, because there's the tenant that was on the lease is no longer living.
Right. Well, though, I started to wonder after reading this one, could they effectively become squatters and then force the company to go through an eviction proceeding?
Possibly, but who wants to go through that? Because they can just, like, if they leave the home, they can change the locks on them.
Well, but fundamentally, it would turn, well, granted, you're right, that's going to,
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just trying to think of things that would at least buy them additional time.
Right.
Because this is kind of a mess that honestly you would think a little arbitration would work through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, here's the situation. It's really bad, but you have tenants willing to pay.
Right. Can
we come to an agreement? Can we rework a lease? Can we just give this is a very odd situation.
Right.
This is a one-off. Let's come together, find an agreement, make sure everyone gets what they need out of the situation.
Right. I think some federal prosecutors need to step in here on this. I mean, because to be honest, it isn't that much. They could have and should have at least given the family a month. No.
Yeah. Well, effectively, I think they did get a 30-day notice. Is what it worked out to, but yeah. I'm sorry, is that still a lot?
Yeah, that still needs to be worked. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Brenda.
So at least someone's standing up for the unemployed in this fair state of ours. Hearing is scheduled for the unemployment lawsuit that will be held on the 12th. The lawsuit is over the termination of pandemic-related unemployment benefits in West Virginia. Of course, our lovely dumb governor ended federal programs providing enhanced benefits for unemployed affected by COVID-19 on June 9th. Under federal law, West Virginia would have been guaranteed them till September 6th. Um, Luckily, you know, you know, Rebecca Earn of Charleston and Kimberly of South Charleston filed a lawsuit Tuesday of last week in Kanawha County against the Commissioner of Workforce West Virginia. The suit culminates into one case the court had previously heard. Plaintiffs point out that in sections of the state law, that Workforce West Virginia Commissioner must secure all available advanced unemployment benefits.
Yeah. So basically, what the state has said is that Workforce West Virginia is charged with trying to secure the most benefits possible for any applicant. As in, you should have the most, the most time, the most money that you can possibly get.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you're supposed to be getting the and we all know that unemployment is kind of crap.
And has been.
But yeah. Well, always has been. But yeah. And instead what we inadvertently did was, and we weren't the only ones. There are a number of other states that have pulled this stunt too, is tried to force people back to work by ending the extended benefits.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't worked.
Right.
Fundamentally, all it's done is just harm people.
Exactly.
That's all we did with that.
Right. And furthermore, their excuse, we can't get people to go back to work. No, people have learned to find other ways to live than go to work for crappy paying, low paying, high risk jobs.
Right. And moreover, like we've continued to make this argument, is that extra money wasn't what kept people from working.
Right.
It never was.
Right.
Like it just wasn't.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. This was a bad plan. You were wrong from the beginning. You had wrong assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me so much of the drug testing welfare recipients that shot through the country. What was it, 10 years ago?
Correct.
You're going to drug test everyone who receives SNAP benefits, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And what they effectively found was it really wasn't the problem that everyone thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, thanks for the validation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you had to insult a lot of people to get there.
Exactly.
And waste a ton of money.
Right. Which I'm beginning to think that's what Republicans do.
Yeah, I know. For people that are fiscally conservative, I'm not seeing the fiscal responsibility here. Like, let's do things that make sense with money.
Right.
Not just try to find ways to not spend money that end up costing more money than it would save.
Exactly.
As a primary, if you had a net zero, okay, potentially you might approve something.
Right.
You didn't have a net zero in that. You didn't have a net zero in this.
Yeah.
You actually made things worse in both instances.
Right.
You literally spent crap tons of money on the drug testing.
Right.
Just to prove that the prevalence of drug use within people who receive SNAP benefits isn't that far off of the general population. Surprise, surprise.
Right.
And that it realistically wasn't all that big a deal.
Right.
Like, it really wasn't.
Right.
So yeah. And hi, Jessica. Glad you like the background.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I'm hoping he gets handed his damn hat on this one. Because, he's already created another damn issue in this state.
Oh. Which one?
Oh, we can't
Just
stop
one?
the surge.
Well, and, that's kind of a grabby little headline. So, yeah. Too late to stop Delta variant surge, West Virginia officials say. Which is probably true, but false. Effectively, that's the headline created out of Dr. Marsh's effective statements and what Governor Justice echoed, which is we're not going to stop Delta from hitting West Virginia. It's going to happen.
Right.
But, effectively go get your vaccinations, please.
Right.
At least maybe we can try to stem the tide of it.
Right.
And keep it from getting as bad. Because, dear God, did you see Florida?
Not yet.
Florida's breaking new records.
Yes.
Or is making new records on COVID. They're up to 10,000 hospitalizations. And they're at 1,000 new diagnoses, I believe, a day.
Yeah.
Ouch. God, Florida. But again, another tourist state. Much like West Virginia has been.
Right.
And we've talked about this and said it, is that I'm really thinking that at best we're going to wait till Bridge Day, and then we'll at least try to shut down.
Right.
I'm honestly thinking that probably by October we're going to pull in-class instruction again.
Well, good. They'll have time to work on the bridge.
I know, right?
And not renovate my household.
Exactly. But no, it's just, it's really, guys, we were so close. We were so close. For 5 seconds. Yeah. I mean, to this being something that we were going to have, it was going to horribly affect us. It was going to be something to remember for generations. 2020 sucked.
Right.
But now we've turned it into 2020 sucked. 2021 has sort of sucked.
It sucked.
And now we're going to be moving into 2022 is going to suck. And I would say probably 2023 ain't going to be all that pretty either.
Well, if
at least
not
the first half.
Get to the program. Get these people to the program. It isn't that hard to do. Require them to work. They must have a vaccination. Require if they go to school. They must have a vaccination. If they want to go out to eat and get a vaccination.
I still say honestly, I don't know that a second mask mandate is even going to matter at this point. Here's my thoughts and theories on this. I think we did the best we could the first go round. And that, frontline employees put up with as much as they were going to put up with. I don't think that if we try to do this again, I honestly don't think it's going to work. I think literally you're going to have the same idiots as last time. And I don't think we're going to get frontline workers to step in again. They're just going to be like, nope, we tried this. We're not doing this. I'm not getting spit on, slapped, kicked, whatever, by a bunch of angry idiots.
Right. Well,
I think we'll have a large number of people quit.
Oh, yeah. Well, did you see where frontline, you mentioned frontline employees that require, that calls, Frontier Airline, where they had to duct tape a passenger down?
I saw the headline. I didn't have a chance to read the article. What the heck?
He just went fucking loco. So they had to duct tape him in there.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about the frontline airline incident. Yes, Ashley. he was getting abusive and mean and attacking and hitting people. Punched one of the flight attendants in the face, grabbed two of the flight attendants' asses. They duct taped him in place, but then got suspended for it.
Yeah, I don't think there's really all that many good options you have mid-air if a flyer loses their crap.
Well, I still believe in the old idea that, they should arm these flight attendants with tasers. Because you don't want bullets in a plane, but a taser works really well.
Yeah.
And fucking tase his ass. That puts him out for 10 seconds. That gives you time to slap a set of cuffs on his butt.
Fair.
Put him in his seatbelt. He ain't moving.
So what do they technically get suspended for? That's what I want to know. Like, I could understand on the passenger side of this. This is not how you want your flight to go. But again, everyone else on the plane did not want you to be that guy. Although then again, I've probably met a couple of flight attendants I'd be afraid of having a taser. I think they would just be like, not today. Not today, not dealing with you today.
Right.
Well, and on many flights there is air security, or moreover, there's U.S. Air Marshals or traveling law enforcement, all of whom are deeply valued by our friendly skies. It helps keep them more friendly. But yeah, it's still. Yeah, typically on any flight, there are U.S. Air Marshals but you'll also run into police or traveling law enforcement. And typically any traveling law enforcement agent will let them know, no, it is not the Starbucks cup. But typically they'll let the airlines know it actually comes in useful during flights if they do have a problematic passenger.
Right.
To have a law enforcement official.
It's saying suspended. It's not saying what over. It's most likely because they use packing tape to secure him to his seat.
Well, sometimes you just do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a suspension I would ever be embarrassed by. Like, you want to talk about that one? I'll talk about that one. Right. Like, here's what happened. It made national news. Do you want to see video?
Yeah.
Like, if I were involved in that, I would have no shame. I would be angry at getting suspended, but I would have no shame.
Well, I think they need a break. I mean, this is just one of the other incidents. Like, I'm sorry, people are behaving badly.
Yeah. I mean, again, you wouldn't necessarily want this to happen on any flight to anyone at any time for any reason. But given the situation, like, this was way out of bounds. Like, this is kind of clear and obvious. Okay, we had to do something. Like, we don't know what's going on with him. We don't know why this passenger was having these problems. But no, we you don't want this.
Yeah.
This is not how you fly.
Well, and Southwestern has now suspended the sale of alcohol beverages on their flights after one of their flight attendants was punched in the face and knocked out 2 teeth. The Federal Aviation's reporting is 3,271 cases of unruly behavior by passengers in the first half of 2021. Guys, not all of us are flying. A lot of us aren't even traveling yet. A lot of us have had to cancel plans because people can't behave.
Right.
There is no reason to be mean to flight attendants, waitresses, or anything else like that.
No. Like, I'm sorry, most of the flight attendants I've met over time have been really flippin' nice.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, they're not going to do anything they're not allowed to do. Which, duh. But at the same time, it's like they're generally really friendly people that are there to help you. Like,
Right.
I've probably only ran into like one or two that were like mediocre at their jobs.
Right.
Like, every once in a while, you get that flight attendant who's just like, water, soda, like, what do you want? Like, I don't know if they're exhausted. I don't know if they're just at that point in their career where it's like, I needed to retire 5 minutes ago. But very rarely do you even meet that flight attendant who's like, I'm going through the motions, okay?
Yeah, there are a lot of flights still being canceled for, last minute. And here's why. I don't have the passengers.
Well, moreover, you can have a flight that is literally unprofitable to fly.
Yeah.
And that's what airlines typically try to avoid. Though the problem with that is you pretty much have to wait to see who shows up and who buys last minute tickets.
Right.
And then they try to work from there to combine flights.
True.
Not always with the best advantage of the passenger in mind. Like, you can get into some ugly situations with flights that should probably not be combined just because the timing is going to be horrific. As in, you're going to be at that airport for an additional 12 hours. It's especially problematic or more. Depending upon the flight and how often it goes in and out, you can get stuck at an airport for quite a while.
Exactly. And Brenda says she swears during the shutdown, people lost all manners and common sense about how to behave in public. I think that I'll up you that one. I think the people that have manners and common sense are still staying out of public.
Basically.
We're not traveling. We're not, looking at going major places because there's still a damn plague going on. All right. So,
yes,
I want to talk about this case because it's going to raise my blood pressure.
So, yeah, man beat his grandfather to death in Huntington while videoing crime. I read this one, and do you ever, this was one of those moments where I read the headline, and I went, okay, that's a little bit clickbaity, but okay, I'll bite. What happened? And then you're reading this article, and I'm waiting for, okay, there's got to be a rest of the story moment. Like, what's the rest of the story moment? The rest of the story is literally that. So this guy, 36-year-old Seth Ellis Donald, beat his grandfather to death out in the woods outside of a nursing home because he felt his family was wasting too many resources on his care. Is there a name for those videos that starts with an S? I'm sorry, I'm confused by Ashley's comment. Yeah, it's so messed up. It is a super messed up story.
Yeah, he filmed it on his iPad.
Apparently did not expect his grandfather to struggle as much as he did. I guess thought maybe he would tell him, like, we're wasting too many resources on you, it's time to die, which he did. And that his grandfather would be like, yeah, you're probably right. What did you, one, there are so many things wrong with coming to that conclusion to start with, but you seriously thought your grandfather was going to be like, yeah, okay, sounds legit, go ahead and kill me. The guy was 90-some years old, but he still wanted to live. Oh, snuff videos. Yeah, got you now. Got it. Yes, basically.
I mean,
Um,
why would you film this though? First of all, why the fuck would you do this?
yeah, that's problem one. That's major problem one. Problem two is, why would you film it? Like, that part I don't get. And then why would you share it with family members? Like, what did you think your family was going to think when they saw the video? I mean, like, this is not a Polaroid moment to begin with. This is not one for the family photo album.
No. This isn't anything but murder. And the saddest murder. Too many resources? What the hell?
I mean, now granted, a whole different conversation is the the enormity of end of life care expense. And that it does seriously impact a lot of people and a lot of families. But no. Like, really, no.
Yeah.
Like, that is not, that's not a reason that you kill people. Like, that's a reason you file bankruptcy. That's a reason that, you really want to, like, pay attention to your assets and your asset planning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a reason a lot of people have stress. That is not a reason for murder, because that's what this is. Like, I'm all over the place with this one. Like, did he think he was doing a right thing? And if he thought he was doing a right thing, why was he videotaping it? Like, why would you videotape that at all? Like, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's yelling, let it go, let it come, let it come. It's okay, Grandpa. It's time. What planet of brain is this man on?
I mean, it kind of sounds like he was putting down a family pet. On one hand, like what he was saying in the video, like, let it come, or like someone like the assisted suicide concept.
Right.
But it's like, this guy clearly did not want to die.
Yeah.
Like, one, this wasn't even his choice. This isn't like they had a conversation.
Yeah.
And respecting his grandfather's wishes, he did a horrible thing in the worst way imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
And killed his grandfather. No, that's his own, like, thing. I don't even know this falls, like, this is an angel of mercy either.
No.
Like, where you can sort of understand, but it's still really fucking wrong.
Right.
Like, someone's terminal, they're terminal, they're suffering, like the angel of mercy, like nurse killing kind of concept, where, like, it's a really bad choice. Please stop, choosing whether people live or die there. Like, that's a really, really bad choice. You don't want to do that. It's not even that. It's like, you just up and decided it costs too much to take care of him, so just kill him.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, super easy to convict on that one. But he almost got away with it.
Yeah.
That's the sad part. If he had not have shared the video, if he had never taken a video,
right.
Which, again, what I really want to understand is, why did you take a video? Why would you ever take a video of that? Yeah. Like, you knew what you were going to go do.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you take a video? Like, did you think it was going to go really differently? Like, that's the only thing I can get into my head, is he thought he was going to have this conversation with his grandfather, and he was going to be like, yeah, I want to die.
No.
And then, like, in case he got charged, be like, well, here's the video.
Mm-hmm.
Where Grandpa said he wanted to die, and maybe he'd get off with, like, a reduced sentence because, I was helping my grandfather with his last wishes. I know this was a really bad thing, but, which obviously wasn't happening.
Right.
Was not happening.
Right.
you literally have video of your grandfather begging for his life. So even if you kind of thought this was going to go different because you're, like mentally, you just thought this was going to go different, why would you keep the video? In the first, like immediately after, I would think you would want to delete that. That's called evidence. But even if you're going to keep it because whatever, why would you share it?
Right.
Exactly. I'm stuck at he's sick. Like, this is a really sick individual. Like I try to follow logic on some things, but I can't find it for this dude. Like I can't. Like I just can't follow what went through this guy's head.
Well, what gets more weirder here as we go through this is the detective said he waited to turn himself in until his frail presentation was complete. It was a 3-part presentation: an introduction to the general public, an introduction to the more academic audience, and then a video explaining why he killed his grandfather, and then one called The Crime with the full video he took that day. So not only did he wait to turn himself in till his video rendered.
All of his post-production.
Yes, which can take a while.
Granted, again, what the hell? Like, he's, on one hand, he's trying to explain himself, and I'm sitting here going, but what do you think you're explaining?
Yeah.
Like, what rational concepts do you think you're explaining? Again, I understand elder care is super flippin' expensive.
Yeah.
Like, it really, truly is. But you're trying to explain and defend the indefensible. You murdered a human being, not in an assisted suicide kind of way at all. Because you were tired of paying to take care of him. Or moreover, you weren't even paying directly, but your family was.
And see, this is what gets me in general. Obviously, at 94, he has accumulated some assets. So security, I would say a disability plan, a 401k or two. He has assets.
Well, but on the flip side, that's not true of every elder in nursing home care. For a lot of people, this ends up being a family paid thing. Like, grandpa goes to the nursing home and mom and dad have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're, or a few brothers and a sister, like whatever your family situation is, somehow it gets divvied up, or it all goes on one or two. Or you're the only child of this of this person, and you get the total responsibility of the bill, or you're the only one with money that could pay it.
Right.
You get
or
the total responsibility.
Covers it.
Right.
Okay.
But to some extent, it's also an issue of the quality of care and what this nursing home is. Is this a good, nice, decent, nursing home? That can easily cost $5,000 a month or more.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are very, and especially for elder parents that are cognitively aware of their surroundings and their situation, are very, committed to ensuring that long term they remain there.
Right.
Despite the expense. And then moreover, this isn't your money. I'm like, the way it sounds, this isn't costing him anything.
Right.
The grandchild that murdered his grandfather, this isn't directly costing him anything. This sounds like he's getting very upset, and almost seems like a trigger would be a discussion with his parents about his future inheritance, and that a lot of it, isn't going to be there.
Right.
Because it's going to take care of, their income, a chunk of it, a large chunk potentially, is going towards caring for his grandfather.
All right. And, Sandy, welcome to the chat, Sandy.
Yes.
Um, says if they transferred grandpa's assets to someone 5 years prior to going to this, the state pays for the nursing home care. So
Yeah,
even if
but it is pay for good care.
it pays for care,
It pays for care. I'm just saying many families opt and elect to
mm-hmm,
direct pay for care because they
mm-hmm,
don't like the state run or the state available options.
right,
Like there's nursing homes that the state will pay for to maintain someone in,
mm-hmm,
and then if you want like a better care facility,
mm-hmm,
you have to use assets or your own direct funds to pay for that, or
right.
someone else does.
But the point being is you don't go off killing the elderly because you aren't going to get an inheritance.
Right. Or like you're ruining my inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what this sounds like is he found out that the all the sweet money he thought he was going to get when his parents died
Right.
wasn't quite as sweet because a lot of it was going to fund his grandparents' care.
Right. But this generation. They need
I
to
don't know,
burn
he's
him.
36, like he's only a few years younger.
Burn him.
Well, I'm not opposed to that part. I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think this is a gross generational thing. This is a what the hell.
Right.
Like this sounds like the next iteration of affluenza.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're too spoiled to understand
Mm-hmm.
that because your parents are paying for your grandfather's care,
Right.
you know you really shouldn't be looking at that as harming your inheritance. Like, or more importantly, that you need to take action to protect your inheritance. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the only thing that makes sense, and even that's crap.
Right.
Is the idea that you're protecting your inheritance by killing your grandfather so that he is not money is not being spent on his care that would otherwise come to you or be spent on you potentially.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, now I really want to back up and know, like, what has this guy's life been like up to this point? Like,
Yeah.
is he 36, unemployed, lives at home, never, you know, like, what's his situation there? Because it sounds kind of nuts. Yeah. Like, that would be my next theory is what was his next stage plan? Kill mom and dad? Or was he just looking for, a Lamborghini?
Well, this is only arraignment. We haven't gotten into this yet.
I
Uh,
say it's going to be a hell of a trial.
yeah.
Like, I'm trying to follow what we have so far.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
And
what we have so far is um was arrested for a warrant. He was arrested. He was arraigned. Being captured in California last year. He was brought over here. He was arrested in Beverly Hills. Police officers say offers in pandemic response called the Woodlawn Retirement Community on Bradley Foster Drive on June 2nd after the man was found dead. When they arrived on the scene, police said they found the body of, I'm not going to mention the man's name, in the wooded area of the property. They said he lived in the retirement community. Police say further investigation determined that Steele's death was a criminal act which led to a first-degree murder charge against Donald. They say that was related to Donald, but did not say how they were related at the cause of death. Now we know it's the grandchild. Donald was extradited back to Huntington, West Virginia, and he just went for his preliminary hearing.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if he has pled guilty or not yet. Technically, he turned himself in, which would lead me to believe he pled guilty, but that's not always the case. Sometimes, if you think you're going to be arrested for a crime, you will turn yourself in.
Right.
Typically makes the whole not being hunted by law enforcement, getting bail thing go a little better.
Mm-hmm.
If you're if you're responsive to criminal investigation. I don't know if he's going to end up trying to do not guilty by insanity. I don't know if he's going to try to do some other form of not guilty.
Well, it's not apparent. Apparently, he's planning something other than that because the magistrate moved it to grand jury.
Okay.
Later, he sent the video around to friends and family and confessed in 2020 at the Beverly Hills PD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just keep trying to make it make sense.
Right.
Like mentally is what my brain keeps trying to do with this one is make it make sense on some level. Like even if it's crazy sense, like make it make sense.
Right.
But I can't. It just seems like he had multiple disconnected thoughts and did all of them.
Yeah.
And like there's no
Well, what's scary to me is he's laid this out to be a full project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's like if I done a full project on developing psychic skills that presented one to the general public, presented one to the academic world, and then presented one for the courts. No.
Well, what that kind of screams to me is somewhere in his head, he thinks all of this makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Which really is its own insanity defense. Like if you're sitting there and you have gone through all the different parts of this, and in your head, this all makes perfect logical sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it doesn't. Like no sane, rational person can make sense of this. This is not the way a sane, rational person thinks. You kind of built your own.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, it's still like either you're a complete, total genius, or you're flipping bonkers. Either way, I don't think I want to be anywhere near this guy. Like, one way or another, lock him up forever.
Right.
Like, no.
Read Shannon's question.
All right, Shannon was asking, does West Virginia have a mental incapacitation law? Last I heard, West Virginia says you're crazy when you commit a crime. You're locked in a mental institute until you can stand trial. Last I looked, but that was like 15 years ago.
Correct. That's still in the books.
So basically, we have an indefinite delay of trial, so you can be locked up until you're deemed fit to deemed competent.
Yes, you have to be deemed competent. Of course, this is weird in the state of West Virginia, as long as you know who the current president is, your name, your birth date, and where you are, as long as you have at least 3 of those down, you're deemed competent.
I'm not sure this guy's even going to manage 3 of those. I mean, the only way I can make this make sense in my head is he's completely flipping bonkers.
Or completely freaking greedy.
Well, greedy, obviously. But to then go to the level of you made a presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just sitting here going, that it's kind of like genius level crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you think you have a sympathetic or reasonable plea to make here of what you did makes perfect logical sense, and compassionate normal humans are gonna like get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, no. Which that's kind of what I'm saying is like it's its own bubble of here's your insanity, like, and it's in a neat package because this isn't the way people think.
Okay.
Generally,
so gentleman that was 94,
Mm-hmm.
was a sociology professor, a
Mm-hmm.
pilot, and a missionary who traveled overseas. He had he he was fascinated by in so many different things, according to the CEO of Woodland Retirement. The New York native moved to Huntington and brought a farm in Wayne County, and also founded the Christian the Savior Orthodox Church in Wayne. Um, so he was so interested in Appalachian from a sociology point of perspective, and who also worked at the retirement community. Worked at the retirement community
At age 95.
at age 95.
Yeah. So, I mean, he has a really decent quality of life.
Yeah,
Like, a lot of 95-year-olds would be pretty flippin' happy at that point.
right.
But then you turn around and it's like trying to understand the grandson, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can kind of follow that. Like, this is a highly intelligent family.
Right.
Like, it doesn't sound like, this is as like, it's not simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there's anything about this case that's simplistic. That's like ABC. Like, I don't think you're gonna follow it that easy. It sounds like it is a complete, like, clown car of things. Like, and I'm just trying to, like, follow it. And it's like, I don't think this follows. I don't think this tracks. I think these are a lot of disconnected ideas that have gone on in this guy's head.
Yeah, because the grandson wasn't inheriting the farm. It's been donated to the Rutland Orthodox Church to become a home for a dozen of the monks.
Mm-hmm. But that still leaves the question. This sounds like a gentleman
Mm-hmm.
who fundamentally had his own assets to spend as he pleased.
Right.
So I'm left with, where does the waste of family resources come in?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't get that.
or moreover, again, trying to, like, okay, follow a logical path here. Okay, so, how was anything he did that day going to change
Mm-hmm.
the use of those assets? Because it doesn't sound like it was like,
Right. I mean,
I keep trying to make crazy make sense, and it's giving me a headache.
well, see, here's the thing. Sounds like he was paying for his own stay there. I mean, he donated his property. He'd worked in sociology. He was still even working at the retirement home at 94, 95.
Mm-hmm. Well, but again, I'm trying to follow what he actually says, what the grandson actually says.
Mm-hmm.
It, like,
Yeah. Yeah, the grandson's actual quote, and it just gets me, is, "We're wasting too much resources for you. There is no place for you in this generation."
I mean, unless you want to, like, step out of that, and it's not greed, it's not about money. It's just a general resentment and hatred of people, over a certain age.
Yeah.
And it
That's
has
the way I
nothing.
take it. Because, and people like him have no future in this world.
Yeah, so if you go from that perspective, I'm sitting here going, that's a general hatred of anyone, like, over 70 or
Yeah.
over whatever. And somehow a belief that once you hit a certain age, you should be exterminated because you've served your purpose. Like, what is that, retirement? Is that where, like, he wants to start at? And I would think if you have a 95-year-old grandfather at 36, your parents are probably close to that 65 retirement age. Like, quick math.
Right.
Oh, so Brenda goes Logan's Run. Time to die.
No,
But yeah, no.
please. I mean, if we look at your grandmother, because mine didn't live that long, that far into her 90s. Your grandmother was still active up until like 92.
Yeah,
She had a
94.
job. You tell me
Yeah.
of taking your grandmother to work, and I'm like,
Yes. I mean, now granted, my grandmother was already starting into dementia pretty good by that point. So the level of like benefit, and thankfully it was volunteering. But she went to work and she volunteered, and she wasn't the best helper they ever had at that point. But when you consider that she'd been doing this for
30 years.
30 years, because she started in the 90s, and so she left, I want to say around 2000, oh gosh, 12, 2013, somewhere in there. Like, yeah, I mean, over the whole course of it, she's helped a lot of people, but there at the end, no, she probably wasn't a whole lot of benefit. And it was more so something for her to do. She was at least friendly with people,
She took them with her walker.
Yeah, she went on her walker, she did her thing. Like, she answered the phone. Sometimes she gave right information. Like, bless her heart. Like, that's where she was at. Bless her heart. She tried. And they always did pair her with someone else that could help.
Right.
So that, and you kind of had to like work around her a little bit.
Right.
But she was there, she was trying. She did help a few people here and there. Just not like dependably. Like you couldn't. But yeah, she was still working. She was still active. She was still doing her thing. She still enjoyed her life. She still enjoyed going. Right. Oh, there you go, Brenda. Brenda's great grandmother was 102 when she died, active until the last few months, wore high heels, and had her shot of whiskey for medicinal purposes at 100. There you go.
I just cannot understand not seeing the value of our old. He's a fucking nut. I get that. But these are theories we have heard forever, and I find them demonstrous to begin with.
Well, what gets me is we do. I just struggle to get through there. As to like, is this part of a bigger issue, or is just this one person's like really horrible like interpretation of what's going on in the world?
Right.
Like that's kind of where I think it is, but I don't even think it's a theory with continuity that he had.
No.
Like it's not a continuous, okay, if you branch wrong here and you take a wrong turn there and you turn left there, it's not one of those that it's like, okay, I can try to follow this mental, sluicing to get there.
Right.
It's like multiple disconnected ideas.
Yeah.
Oh, and her story is absolutely amazing. But yeah, I'm just I keep trying to follow it and it doesn't work.
No. And then we've got wildflowers all over the place.
We do. It's been a bad year for things to burn.
It has been. We've got the Dixie Fire, which is now the largest wildfire in California history. We've got Greece on fire.
I think let's pause there.
Europe is on fire.
Yeah. I want to pause there a second, and we'll get right back into the fire stories.
Okay.
I like Sandy's question.
Okay.
I think it's one, and I don't know that we're answering it tonight, but I think it's one to go out there. Sandy says, Aeson agree. I will soon be 65. Is my worth gone?
No, I don't think so. I think I like Brenda's comment. Our ancestors and our elders are not respected as much as they were or should be. At 65, all right, let's say you're in bumper health. You eat your veggies, you take your meds, you do really good. You could be working till your 90s. I know a few psychics, Ann Reynolds being one of them, who's still working. I was shocked to hear at 92, I believe, she is still taking readings.
Awesome.
One of my favorite patients was 112 years old. My father had taken care of her when she booked herself in there. Now, granted, when I got her, she had, broken a hip and, other things had gone on. But she was 112 years old and she would tell stories about running the grocery store that her father owned when he was alive and then taking it over, having the trouble she did with the man she fell in love with not being approved, and her deciding she's just not going to marry. She's going to run this little grocery store till she decided she was leaving. And when she retired, she couldn't take care of herself anymore. So at 72, she booked herself into the best nursing home she could afford.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I like, here's my thing though, when you start asking the worth question,
mm-hmm.
is that's almost, you have to answer that for yourself. I think trying to put that out to the world is a problem. And I think that's where a lot of people start that question in the first place. And it's like, clearly to this guy, you may not have had any worth left, or you were getting to the bottom of that tank. It is like the way this guy seems. Like, as in people over 65, people of retirement age, our senior population. Seems like to this guy have no worth. And that's why I go, you kind of have to answer that one for yourself. Like, that's where I'm at with that one, is you really have to answer the worth question for yourself. And it should always be yes.
Yeah. But a drag queen performing at 94? Go grandma. I don't know. I just look around and look at people's behavior and think, do you forget the ground you walk on? Do you forget the steps you're taking is because other people have done it for you, so you could? Where's the respect?
Yeah.
Look at Mama Knight. Hell, she's got a busier social calendar than I do.
I know. And she still found time to make a cake and fudge for you.
Yes. Even though I've explained to her, I can't have those things. Really can't have those things now.
Really shouldn't have those things now. I don't know, though. You've had, like, I don't know. Your whole experience is bass-ackward. We'd probably bottom out your blood sugar if you ate the fudge. Like, that's where I think that's at. Peanut butter fudge, I think, would probably bottom you out at this point. So I don't know anymore.
Well,
like, I try.
We'll figure that out later since you're tempting me with it.
But there's fudge.
Well, we may do that one evening if I can get her available. Like, you guys don't understand. I am not a neglectful son. I call my mother. Hi, Mom. We talked today, actually. We'll coming over Wednesday to move your TV onto the new TV stand. What time? Around 6. That's fine, but at 8:30, I've got to do such and such.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mother. Would Sunday be better? No, I'm fully booked Sunday.
Yeah, I know. It's great. We will tell her she has a fan club. She's a trip, though.
She
She's
is.
a trip.
She can still outwork and outlift me.
Yeah, yeah. Like I've learned early on, just let her do what she's going to do. Like, just get out of her way. Just get out of her way. Like, I don't know. I expected a more. I don't know what I expected or what I thought, but I expected to, like, she just can't drive. That's the problem.
Right.
Like, you don't need to unload her groceries. She will throw those groceries around harder than I can.
Yeah.
Like, just get out of her way. Just get her there. Get out of her way and get her home. Yeah. That's it. That's all she needs.
Yep. She only needs a chauffeur because she can't see to drive. She probably could drive, but let's not.
Well, yeah, let's not. Our insurance company appreciates that mentality.
No, my mother doesn't. It actually comes from my father's side. But she took on another volunteering organization because her current ones wasn't keeping her busy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she also has to come up with things for a bazaar.
What type of bazaar, or do I want to know yet?
Craft bazaar.
Oh, how lovely. So this is going to be a trip to Joanne's. I understand now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see if Maverick has paid itself yet.
Okay. Oh, but yeah.
But no, we bring up that to lead into the discussion. I've began lizard spit therapy. You want to give them the medical name for that?
Trulicity.
Yes. So I've began Trulicity. It's been very interesting the past few days.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. You're going to hate me for this, but the reason I get to say what it is because you keep blurting out Truvada.
Yeah.
Instead of Trulicity. And I'm like, that's not it. and like, because you are really excited with it and it's been great, but it's like the exclamations you've had, it's like, well, you could say that for both, but it has really different meaning.
Oh, Slimmy was on Trulicity.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. It's a very interesting drug. I thought it would be, like a lot of problem. Granted, I'm old school. No, you just click the button. It's done. Suddenly, food becomes not necessary.
Yeah. Well, and just to pause there for a second before the food thing, is the auto-injector thing is pretty flippin' awesome.
It is.
Apparently, flippin' is my word for the day. All right.
Yeah. Yes, it is lizard spit. It is reptile DNA therapy.
I just want to know how. Like, do they tease the lizard with flies? Do they, like, what are they doing? Like, do they put like a chef prepared fly in front of the lizard and just get them to drool? Do they train them with bells so they drool? Like, how are you getting the lizard spit?
I don't know. Of course, you thought we'd get a lizard, and that would have been perfectly fine.
The way they were acting, I totally expected to have to go pick up an animal cage.
Yeah, I mean,
like, I really did.
That I was being put on, like, literally. I am on a lot of different medications. I've been through a lot of different medications. The pharmacy had to contact the doctor. The doctor had to contact the insurance agency. They had to have a whole conference call to get me on this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the hell? We've had less battles out of other medications.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But now they weren't really hateful about it.
No.
I will give that. Like, they weren't all about denying you. They were just like, we're not sure we should approve you.
Yeah.
Like, that was more the line they took. Like, we don't really have a problem paying for it. We're just not sure you should be approved for it. And we're kind of questioning what your doctor was thinking.
Right.
So, yeah, that was the line they walked. And then, like, they had the conversation. They like, all right, here you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, getting the eyes could be cool.
I think getting the temperature regulation would be great.
Yeah, meanwhile, Ashley, I'm sitting here and I've watched the Therapy Gecko. What did I just watch? What did I watch?
Are you having the Barney expiration?
The what?
Okay. Growing up, I didn't get to watch Barney. So when I first saw Barney, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, no. See, I had nieces and nephews who
Yeah.
were all about the Barney.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, God, no, please, no. Why? Why? This is the most annoying childhood character. Oh, I was so grateful when, like, the next, like, iteration of, like, nieces and nephews, they were all about the SpongeBob SquarePants. And I'm like, well, I can do that.
No, that's
I'm there with that.
plot. I have classified him a communist plot to take over the world.
Hey, you know what? Still cool though. But no, the Therapy Gecko is so yeah, it's a lot of dry humor. I'm just sitting there though, and it was not at all what I expected. I thought, okay, it's a therapist with a gimmick. Like, all right, cool. And it's like not. It's like the anti-therapy gecko.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't like, you know, like the one that got me though was the one where the guy was like, I think all my friends hate me, and he was like, they do. And I'm just like, oh my God. I don't know what I'm watching. It's funny. It's hilarious. I'm there with it's hilarious. By the way, the Therapy Gecko you can find on TikTok if you want to go look over there for that after the show, of course. But yeah, so anyway, we stopped in the middle of introducing wildfires. Not because I didn't want to get into that, but because, like...
Well, I'm just a little shocked at him.
Yeah. Like, it's been a very burny year.
Yeah.
Very major burn year. Like we've had wildfires, we've had, you know, significant wildfires. We've had significant threats and fears for California in the past,
mm-hmm.
and many other areas. But God, this has been a burny year. Oh yeah, that's a good idea right now. Speaking of wildfires, poor Sandy. Sandy's neighbors are putting off fireworks right now. Stop putting off the fireworks. Do you know how many forest fires start because of that crap? Like, oh my God. Like, everything's, like, kindling at this point. Like, stop it. Stop playing fire. Not a good year for pyros, okay?
No.
Like, wait for the watery years.
Yeah, but apparently it's on all 7 continents are on fire in one way or another this year.
All 7?
All 7.
Huh? Hey. It's a lot of fire.
Yeah.
It's a very burning world.
Mm-hmm.
50 straight days of 4th of July fireworks? Good God. Yeah, no, someone wants to die. That's what someone wants to do. Because, I mean, you're going to set something on fire. Stop setting things on fire.
Yes, stop it. But please remember when you're out in wildlife to be fire conscious.
Mm-hmm.
If someone warns you there's a bear up the trail, be a little protective of your dog who may see it before you do.
And abandon you.
Yeah. Like, abandon me.
Yeah, Gizmo was like, I am having no part of this. You want to go become a yogi snack? You go become a yogi snack. I'm going to be at home.
Yeah. Like, he turned about. I was trying to take a picture, of course, because for some reason along this trail line are these pipeline pieces, like the pipeline that maybe was planned to be there but never happened of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the puppies are great.
Yeah, they're doing really well. We had our first interaction with the Ollie today, and there was no responses. That's a first for him, and perfectly fine.
Okay, and Brenda's bringing up TikTok was going on about how the old gods were woken and were pissed. They were blaming the stupid little TikTok witches. Okay, but isn't that
No,
probably going to end up being other stupid TikTok witches blaming other stupid TikTok witches? I mean, like, yeah, what?
no, 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 no. This is man being stupid. Just like COVID has nothing to do with witches. Keep us out. Keep the two words away from each other. We got blamed for the last few plagues. We aren't in the mood to get blamed for this one. But TikTok witches haven't caught anything on fire. Yes, so they can go out and do some rain dances. You know, TikTok, rain, camera, music. Let's see some rain dances going on.
Okay, but they might have a theory. You know, they were kind of inviting in a lot of the fairies, a lot of the fae.
Well, with the
Like,
forest
this
fires,
seems
we
like
might have to
appropriate.
start some fae rescues.
Do what now?
I said, with the forest fires going on, we might have to start some fae rescues. They can go live in my backyard. They ain't coming to my house.
Well, there you go.
They're messy. I do not need green vines growing out of my walls.
Fair. But yeah, supposedly the stupid TikTok witches original are the reason everything is on fire.
Yeah, everything is on fire because people are stupid, and they have to have gender reveal parties with smoke bombs during a drought.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Couldn't we just do like a sign? Like maybe a cool, colorful, like electronic display explosion. Like, could we do
Right.
that? Like, I think you could reasonably rent one, a giant, projector and, not set anything on fire. I like Ashley's idea
Okay.
that you should do a daily TikTok of am I the asshole? Not me personally, someone else on the internet. Like, don't create a whole like category of videos called "Is Joe the asshole?" Like, no.
We already confirmed that in our relationship.
Yes, topics provided by the internet.
Not by the husband.
Watch Joe Stone so you can understand a little more. Okay, well there you go.
All right, we may check that out. I was about to say, our Joe Stone is real easy to watch. He goes to sleep.
I'm sitting here going, I think an electronic display, gender reveal could be pretty flipping cool.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, we've slowed production on movies. You've got a lot of like CGI animators that are probably bored off their fucking asses.
yeah.
You'd think they'd at least get it together and be like, I mean, come on, how much does the fireworks display cost?
Well, $50 since they went to Walmart.
Ew, really?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Ew. Okay,
Like,
well,
they did not have a professional fireworks person come do this. No, the dumbasses went to Walmart and bought, I believe, pink smoke bombs.
In large quantities.
In large quantities.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Because if one smoke bomb's cool, then, 100 makes it better.
And it's California, so they have to do it bigger and larger.
Well, But, yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm still in your tech segment.
Oh, you're still in my tech segment?
Yeah.
Okay, take it away.
Well, the reason I'm selling is because hopefully this month, supposedly on the 15th, we may be seeing a new level of smartwatches.
Woohoo! Oh yes, you are all about these new smartwatches.
I am.
Like, and you're like dedicated.
I have Google Alerts on, yes.
No, I mean in terms of like your normal, like I'm sticking with my Android phone, screw Apple, like fight the disaster. You're like, I'll go talk to Julie and I will finance the hell out of me some iPhone 22, 37, 95, whatever X height model they come up with next if I have to get a.
Yes. I want the one. I'm wanting. It's right now. It's a toss between Samsung Galaxy 4 or the Apple Watch 7. One of the. I'm hoping the Samsung comes through with the blood sugar. If it doesn't, then Apple better catch it in September.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still worry about the technology there because they've done a glucose watch before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that it was not a good product. It was just a little wonky on the farthest ends of it. That it had a lot of misreads.
Right.
Like it had a pretty decent margin of error.
Mm-hmm.
That made it a little concerning. Like you didn't really want to base your insulin on it.
Well, no, but I'm not there yet.
Right. But that was the problem is when those originally came out, that's who they were marketing it towards, or who mostly bought it.
Right.
Were people, and then they were trying to measure their insulin based on the results they got.
Right.
So they were basing their insulin on, hey, my blood sugar is 110. That's awesome. I only have to use like a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they ate, and next, all of a sudden they got like a 400 reading, and it was like, oh shit, now I have to take a lot more insulin.
Right.
And one or both of those readings weren't really accurate from the get-go.
Right.
The new one, the iWatch 7, is supposed to be able to check blood sugar.
Yep.
Also, the Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 was slated to. It's now seemingly up in the air.
We will find out on the 11th. They will have their event.
Mm-hmm.
And I may TikTok my live stream reaction to it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. But if not, then yeah, I will be moving on to.
Apparently, Sonny will be upgrading.
Yep, I will be moving on to a smartwatch.
You have a smartwatch. We both have smartwatches.
Yes.
You'll have a better smartwatch.
I'll have a better smartwatch.
Yes.
Yes, that won't prompt me all the time to change my watch face.
Oh, come on. It's fun, though.
Yeah, but I think that's the only thing it damn does.
Yeah, basically.
The
one thing I do hate about our watches, and I will say this, we have the Amazfit Bips, which you can get at Walmart. They're like $110, $120, one of the two. Which they're cool and they do a lot of things, but the one thing that I really hate about them is they are permanently fixed in kilometers. Like, they do not understand imperial mile.
Nope.
Like, the software will reinterpret for you, but the display on your watch is entirely kilometers. And you have a lot of problems finding watch faces that'll even display degrees Fahrenheit.
Mm-hmm.
And even the ones that do will actually display it with a Celsius marker after it. And It's like, God, I hope it's not 81 degrees Celsius today.
Right. Which what I'm liking, according to the sneak peeks, I will be able to email SuperDoc my blood sugars, my sleeping, and my EKG before I even get to the office.
I don't think SuperDoc's going to want all that.
Do you know that that's going to arm him for our visit?
Either that, or I don't think you're going to want him to want that.
We'll see.
What were you doing here?
Uh-huh.
You want to you want to explain this? You
Uh-huh.
want to explain this number? Like, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
according to your food journal,
and
this is what you ate.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think if you can auto send that or easily send that to doctors, I think people are a number of patients are probably going to do that in the beginning until their doctor like rakes them over the coals. Well, I see you call yourself active, but you've moved exactly half a mile a day
Uh-huh.
for the last 3 months.
Uh-huh.
Um, Survey says that's a lie. You're not active.
Right.
You're sedentary. You're very sedentary.
Except that's not going to be mine. Mine's going to be going, okay. So I'm increasing your sleeping medicine because looking at your sleep pattern here, you're only sleeping 3 and 4 hours a night.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But yeah, and Sandy points out, I hate pricking my fingers all the time, and the insurance won't pay for the good stuff. I assume we're talking about like the decks.
Well, Dex or even the finger stick things. Mine's on one system. I use another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least you do have the Bluetooth enabled
Yeah.
reader.
Meter. But again,
Yeah.
we pay for that.
I know, but worth it.
Yeah.
Like, because the supplies for that one actually aren't all that horrible.
No.
Like, honestly, it would make more sense if that were the insurance paid one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the meter's a couple of bucks more, but the...
No, it wasn't. It was cheaper. My
Really?
insurance meter was like $600. My other one was like $25.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, mine shows me getting deep sleep. Like, I definitely get that. It's just variable per night.
Yeah.
Like some nights apparently I have good nights, and the other nights I'm like, I got more deep sleep than 2% of all users, and I'm like, ooh, that didn't sound good.
I want to know how big their user base is, though.
That's true. Although then again, I've noticed mine sometimes doesn't figure out I'm sleeping at all.
Right.
Like I've never been able to get it to always recognize the hours that I'm actually sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes it gets it and it'll do great for a while, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't seem to think I ever slept.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, I kind of took a nap. I went to bed. I went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I slept for 6 hours. Why did you only record like 3 of it? Or you didn't record any.
Right.
Like sometimes my watch or my, watch / the app on my phone thinks I haven't slept in like 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, I'm pretty sure I slept. Pretty sure I would have noticed.
Right.
I may forget to eat for a few days, but forgetting to sleep, no.
No.
Oh, that's a valid point. Brenda brings up, I move a lot. I'm not sure if it thinks that that's awake.
I don't know.
That's valid.
That's very valid. But anyway, we'll be updating you guys on what we choose, what features there are. We'll be talking about those apparently next week because the 11th is what, Monday?
No, 11th is Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be ripe for Mountain Bears next week where we'll be discussing the new Samsung Galaxy Watch 4.
Samsung Galaxy Watch. Awesome. Yay. Cool deal. Alrighty, and really no questions for Aeson tonight, guys? All right.
Wow. All right, let's wrap it up.
Alrighty. Yeah, sorry, that wasn't an invitation. Like, we're at the end. But yeah, we do want to thank our supporters, Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, Ashley Guest, Shannon C, Shannon D, and Lady Gwendolyn. If you'd like to learn more about the show or how to become one of our wonderful baristas, one of our Patreons, please visit PCSPnetwork.com.
Have an amazing night, guys. Take care of yourselves. Wear your mask when you feel you need to. And as always, wash your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you need me, I have appointments all week. Until then, bye, y'all.
Bye.
Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo, ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no flight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time, win time. We gon' bring it home time. No regrets now. Let it all go. We bring the thunder.